Yeah, actually, Kiss was my first concert. I was 13, and it was Creatures of the Night. Anyone knows
Wow.
or familiar with that era? It was Eric who was drumming. I was just a little too young. I got into the band when I was a kid. I remember the movie being on TV. My grandma had a part-time job at weekends at convenience stores, and she would bring home the bubblegum cards. So the Donruss bubblegum cards were like the first thing I had, those images.
I know those from eBay.
Yeah, from eBay. But I remember that when you opened it, and the gum was never good, by the way. The gum was always bad.
Always expired, right?
Then, it was always expired.
Welcome back to Inner Sleeve, available exclusively right here on SoundMojo. I'm Cassius Morris, that's Frank Pavan and Joe Pacheco, and I am back from the resort. Oh, sorry, the medical leave that I was just on. Happy to be back, but definitely wanted to say thank you to Frank and Joe, of course, for holding down the fort. I was actually tuned in, and if I may say so, some very good episodes of Inner Sleeve coming out in my absence.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you,
yeah,
sir.
Yeah, we're glad to see that you're back in at full health. We held down the fort, but it wasn't the same without you. So.
Well, it wasn't the same watching it without me. I mean, I'm just so amazing. No, I'm just joking. But really,
right.
I appreciate you guys. And on a serious note, we have a really awesome guest on this episode of Inner Sleeve. We were joined by the one and only drummer of Seether, John Humphrey. Not only an incredible drummer, an incredible guy when it comes to his knowledge of music, his fandom, and just his passion for the group. So we're going to hop into that. But Frank, I know you got a lot of stuff. You have some on this day and possibly some trivia for us, if we can.
Okay, so here's the deal. All right. So first of all, let's get the elephant out of the room, boys.
Oh,
right?
We almost forgot. Now, what are you wearing? Who are you wearing?
It's interesting. Let's see, Joe. What do you've got? There it is. And Cassius.
I can't tell my left from my right. On
there
camera,
it is. So before we get into some trivia, I wanted to let you all know who are watching that we have. Kind of received. We have made some SoundMojo, designed some SoundMojo merch. Joe will leave those links down in the description. We've got hoodies, we've got zip-ups, we've got t-shirts, crew necks, whatever, sweaters, all that kind of stuff. So if you're interested, help support the channel, click those links, check them out, and maybe we can, see some fans with some SoundMojo merch. Let's get into Cassius. We started this when you were away, and I figured, you know what? Let's have some fun. Let's get some trivia going. And I gave Joe 5 questions last week. I think he would admit that it didn't go so well. I've put the.
Well, hey, in my defense, those are some pretty peculiar and really well-researched trivia things. So yeah, very good, very good.
Well, watching it, I was thinking in my head, I think I only got 1 or 2 answers right. So in fairness to you, Joe, that was some good trivia.
Okay,
I'm still plotting my revenge, just so you know.
So we've got 5 more questions that the boys have not seen yet.
Oh boy.
Now I think the results should be better than last week, but we will see. I will give you both the questions, and what I want is Joe, give me your answer, then Cassius give me your answer, and then I will say if you're correct or not. You guys ready for the first question?
Okay, Cassius, we're gonna have a private chat on the side.
Yeah, you guys can.
Let me just open my Google, and I'll be ready in a second.
You guys can consult each other. Okay, first question: which singer is a godmother to Elton John's 2 sons?
My lord, where do you get these things?
I think I know it.
Okay, go for it then, because I don't.
Is it Lady Gaga?
Correct.
Oh,
it is Lady Gaga.
I almost said Dolly Parton, but that's Miley Cyrus, I think.
Oh, okay. Geez, you know your stuff, man. So yes, Lady Gaga is the godmother to Elton John's 2 sons.
Wow.
Look, maybe we'll make it a joint thing. Maybe you both are 1 for 1 right now. Okay, so let's do that. Trivia question number 2. The Grateful Dead's highly devoted fan base is known as what?
Oh, I know that.
Joe knows that.
Or I think I know that.
Go for it.
The Deadheads?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, we're on a roll here. Okay. Question number 3. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is situated in which U.S. state?
I think I know it.
L.A., no? Wouldn't it be California?
I think it's Ohio.
Final answers?
Cleveland.
Yeah, I say Ohio.
It is Ohio. It is Ohio. You guys are rolling through this. My God, coming in clutch. See, Joe, maybe you just needed a sidekick, or
Of course.
or you to be his sidekick. I don't know, whichever way you look at it.
Two minds or one, and my half brain is
Right.
is beneficial.
Between the
Question
two
number
of us,
4.
we have one brain.
Question number 4, and I feel like the listeners can play along with us, right? So, which Beatle had dyslexia?
Ooh. I would venture a guess because I don't know. So I'll guess John Lennon.
I don't know.
You don't know? John Lennon is correct, Joe. So you guys are 100%.
I was thinking Ringo Starr at first, but then I went with John Lennon. Awesome.
You guys are shooting 100% right now.
Very cool.
Luck.
Final question. Fifth and final question. Which popular singer is referred to as the boss?
Easy.
We know that one.
All right.
You gave us a soft one there.
Yeah, maybe I should have opened up with that one.
Yes.
Springsteen.
Bruce Springsteen.
There you go. All right, so nailed it. 5 for 5. So okay, maybe I'll.
See, I like those.
Yeah, you
like
like those
those
ones, didn't you? Last week, I mean, I figured, yeah, they were a bit harder. Definitely a bit harder.
No, they were
last
good
week.
though.
Yeah,
Very
yeah.
good.
Okay,
Next
so
is going to be like in Beethoven's
Let's-
first symphony. Which note? Like it's going to be.
Yes,
I'd probably
this
know a little bit more about
medieval
classical.
composer. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll continue this next week, guys. But
Yeah, maybe we should plan one for like the audience as a poll or something, or like a question on the com tab.
yeah. Or maybe you should just
Definitely
give me one, and I'll fail horribly because I don't know.
yeah.
You're up next, I think. We got to
Okay,
we
cool.
got to do
So-
something.
A few on this days that I felt were quite interesting. I know we've been doing this for a few weeks now, and this might catch you off guard a little bit. But let me just get them here. Here we go. So on the 20th of August, of course, the day in which this episode airs, but in 1968, get this is weird, okay? The director of the University of Tennessee's audio lab reported that a guinea pig was subjected to over a 3-month period to 88 hours of rock music at decibel levels of 120, and it suffered acute damage to the inner ears. And Steve Paul, the owner of the New York Disco, replied, "Should major increase in guinea pig attendance occur at the scene, will certainly bear their comfort in mind." But 120 decibels, Joe, that's no joke.
No, not at all, bro. That's airplane levels, no, or something.
That's insane. So I
like-
wonder what the study was. I mean, I could have told you the results of that study. I'm pretty sure it would damage the ears. I mean,
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Jeez,
that's
brutal.
definitely animal abuse. That's for sure, man.
Oh my God, the stuff that wouldn't fly. 1968, that shit flew in 1968.
If I'm looking here, hang on. I just found a chart. Let's see what it tells me.
Because I was reading that, I'm like, okay, guinea pig getting.
Okay, 120 dB is. I was right. A jet plane takeoff.
Wow.
Louder than that would be a gunshot or metal concert.
dude, that's insane. A gunshot and then a metal concert. Oh my god.
Oh
Yeah,
my
yeah.
God, that is
So
that is
imagine
brutal.
88
Poor
hours
guinea
of-
pig.
Have you ever this makes me think of like, what's your loudest concert you've ever been to? Do you remember one? I do. I remember two.
Oh man.
Like for me, like I'll let you guys think, but for me it was Queens of the Stone Age in Montreal at the Bell Center. I was like the stage, like the way the arenas are set up, I was at the far end and they were like really far down there. And I still was like, holy cow, this is really way too loud. And that's like and then the second one was at a small venue here. The Rialto was Daniel Lanois, which of course I love Daniel Lanois, so I went to see, but he was, it was a collaboration between him and Venetian Snares, which is like an electronic drum and bass artist. And it was obscenely loud. I think illegally. Should have been like, the show should have been stopped. I brought earplugs, okay?
Jeez.
And it was still painful. And the people around me didn't bring earplugs. So much so that I remember seeing these 3 older gentlemen that were probably there for Lanois and had no idea what Venetian Snares was. And they were up front because it was,
my
Lanois
God.
right there, right? They're up front. Dude, as soon as the guy played his first beat or noise or sample, whatever it was, it's like that Maxell. I don't know if you guys seen that Maxell ad where the guy speakers just blow their heads off. They just turned around and walked straight out of to the back of the club.
Oh my God.
Abusive.
Wow.
It was abusively loud.
That is
Wow.
crazy, man.
Cassius,
now you're
you?
making me think. Yeah, I mean, this one time I got to stand side stage for a sound check at a show for Danko Jones, actually, incredible Canadian group. and I've got to stand side stage in different capacities before, but this time when they started playing, I remember my entire body was physically vibrating. Like it almost felt like my organs were moving. Yeah, and it was like, I don't even know if this is safe. Like I felt like I had to sit down. So yeah, like you're saying, Joe, I think some concerts, I think there has to be a limit. And I think sometimes they do go past it. It's too much sometimes.
Honestly, like the one that stands out to me, and I haven't been to nearly as many concerts as you both, but when Panic at the Disco came to Montreal, but it wasn't Brendan Urie, it wasn't Panic at the Disco, it was like one of the openers for him. It was like vibrating me to the core, like my entire body. Each bass thud was just outrageous. But
I think we were at that same show.
Yeah, we were at that same show. I don't know if you remember that.
Were you on the floor or something?
No, I was at the top.
Really?
And it was just really bothersome. It was really bothersome. Like we were like, oh my god, this has to end soon. But
for me too, that concert with La Noix and Venetian Snares, I because I had earbuds, I went up front and like the sub is at the bottom of the stage, and I just felt it vibrate. It was a great experience. I have to admit, the vibration, the sound moving through you was crazy. But I honestly think that was. I even went the next day to check on Facebook, and a bunch of people had commented that it was just ridiculously loud. They should have, It's really dangerous, man.
Next up, guys. All right, we're gonna move on here on this day, 20th of August, 1988. Some big names here. You like them all. I think you like all of these guys. Iron Maiden, Kiss, David Lee Roth, Megadeth, Guns N' Roses, and Halloween all appeared at this year's Monsters of Rock Festival, Castle Donington, England. Two rock fans died while slam dancing as Guns N' Roses played.
Always Guns N' Roses, eh? Always like Guns N' Roses.
Yeah, what's up with that?
Something just follows those guys everywhere they go.
Yeah, it's Axl.
No. I would have loved to. I would have loved to have been there, man. Like Iron Maiden, Kiss, Megadeth. At the time, it was like in the heyday. And Halloween, I was a huge fan of Halloween as a kid, which is basically a power metal version of Iron Maiden with like even higher pitched vocals and stuff. But that would have been a great show. I mean, I've never gone to see a Monsters of Rock. I don't know if it still exists because now there's so many festivals. But that would have been something really fun to see.
Last one on this day. This one's also very interesting. Okay, 20th of August, 1992, a U.S. doctor filed a $35 million lawsuit against the Southwest Bell Phone Company. He alleged that his wife died because he could not reach 9/11 due to all lines being jammed by demand of Garth Brooks concert tickets.
Oh my gosh! So the phone lines were so jammed that you couldn't call anybody.
Wow.
Insanity. That Garth Brooks too. There's something about, I think he came here to my city and he did 9 sold out nights in a row.
I think he still has like the top, remember we were talking about Billboard 200, like he's one of those guys that is still like his album is still selling in the Billboard 200.
Okay, well actually let's hold that thought because Cassius, you brought up something that kind of made me think. The last note that I have here is the day in which this episode airs. Very happy birthday to Robert Plant. Turned 73 years old, of course, the legendary Robert Plant. But you were saying, so Garth Brooks performed for 9 days straight, you said?
It was 8 or 9 nights sold out at the Rogers Place. And it was like one of the biggest things ever.
So can I segue that? Can we take a transition and go to the article that I think you put in the notes about Vince Neil and like being unable to perform at length, like at his age, like just thinking at 8 or 9 days of performing, like my God. But let's segue into that. Like this guy basically just said, this guy had the biggest mic drop from what I read on this, by the way, the article from Blabbermouth, had the biggest mic drop. He's like, he starts singing, what was it, midway through his song, and he's like, sorry guys, no, I'm done. See you next time.
Yeah, he seems to give up pretty frequently.
No, he doesn't. That's the whole point. He keeps going and booking these shows and making people pay to watch a horrible singer that's totally out of shape.
Yeah.
Like, you should just give up. There's a way to bow out gracefully, man,
But he doesn't seem to finish his concerts once he gets on stage. Like, it seems there's always these excuses about, like, I just can't do it or something. I don't know what this guy's... Honestly, guys, I think he should just retire. I mean, listen, I'm all for everybody going to see whatever they want, and I think everybody should do what they want if you want to go out on tour. But I think you're right, Joe. I think there's a limit, and I think this is it. I don't know how you guys feel.
Well, I mean, like, clearly the body can only take so much, and his... band members were encouraging the let's work out, let's get in shape for the trek or whatever they called it. What was the event called? We spoke about this, right? What was that event called that had a bunch of bands united? Cassius?
Which one?
What I'm talking about?
From earlier? today?
the stadium tour.
Oh, the Motley Stadium
Yeah, that's
tour.
what I was
Yeah,
gonna
that was
say,
Leopard and Motley.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, he still has to do that tour. You know what I mean? And that's
There you
bigger.
go.
That's like stadium tours. You know?
Yeah.
It's gonna be
so
horrible.
clearly, like obviously there's a limit. Like we see these older artists who still kick ass, and it's very. But I think it's very rare. Like
It's got to be some sort of addiction for them, because
addiction
it's
to their work for sure. But it's also like they must a healthy addiction to the point where they keep their body in shape. Right. It seems like Vince Neil might be just living off of his name now and not like
pretty much
conditioning himself as a whatever 60-year-old or however old he is to persist through his 60s as an elite performer. Like I think that maybe he's not taking that part as seriously, because when you get to that age, man, and you're a rocker and you're doing nights on nights, your body needs to be. It's like you're an athlete at that point. You're putting your body through a lot.
But it's weird because you look at like Def Leppard, same age, probably even older, because they were around older. They put on a killer show. Joan Jett, she puts on a killer show. The Rolling Stones, you know, like they.
I think they were better drug takers.
Kiss. They run around for 2 hours. I told you when I was a kid, I saw Paul Stanley with a broken rib, strapped and still running around 2 hours on stage, putting on a killer show.
Yeah, no, that's the thing, and I think that it all depends how you've. I think all of them abused through the 70s and 80s and 90s. I think it's about how you abused. The stories that Keith Richards was very meticulous about his amounts and this and that. I mean, you hear about Motley Crue is just pure debauchery, drunk every day, all the time, on drugs every day, all the time. And I mean, I think that Vince Neil might be an example of one of those guys that when the 90s came around, he didn't get sober. He just kept going and going and going. And I think you can see a stark difference between the guys who did wrap it up in the 90s and the guys who kept it going till today.
Well put.
Yeah,
well put.
It's really tough to watch. So are we going to get into another story, or are we going to hop into this Seether interview? Because we do have some Steel Panther news for anybody watching. Maybe we should let them know.
Yeah, maybe we'll keep that for the back end.
Okay, well, let's tease you guys with that. When you come back, you'll find out what's up with Steel Panther, of course, the greatest metal band of all time. We all know that. And let's jump into this interview with the one and only John Humphrey, drummer of Seether. So what's up, man? Are you in New Orleans tonight, or have you traveled to Alabama?
Alabama, yeah, playing Alabama.
And how was New Orleans?
It was amazing. The crowd was amazing. We played right outside there, the square, right outside the Superdome. So right across from the stage, you could you look right at the Superdome. So it was pretty amazing.
I can only imagine. On tour with Three Doors Down. Now, how many shows have you actually done since, I guess, coming out of the pandemic lockdown? Because it's sort of an unavoidable question. And I guess to add to that, like, what's it been like for you, really, to be getting out there?
It's amazing. That was show number 3 last night. And it just feels amazing. The crowd, especially that first one, was almost like a spiritual experience, man. The crowd was on our side right away. Of course, it's not like we're having to win over new fans or anything, but they were so excited, you could tell, to see us. We were so excited to be there. And at the first show, you just wanted to take it all in. And that's how I've been about all 3, really. It's just great to be back and playing and doing what we do, you know?
Was there anything that sort of took you by surprise or anything unexpected about these experiences, the first 3 shows? Or was it just like you snapped your fingers, you skipped time, and you were back to where you just were?
I'm trying my best to do that, pick up where we left off. I mean, we were in New Orleans. There was a mask mandate that was sort of back in the building that we were in, but we were cool. Other than that, no, the crowds, everything feels pretty much the same. We're on stage doing what we do, and the crowd is up on their feet and enjoying the shows. And so in that respect, we're kind of back to doing what we always did, which feels great because we've been away for a while because it wasn't just the pandemic year for us. The year prior, we were working on the new album, recording it, and we had just finished recording it when the pandemic hit. So really, it was almost 2 years off for us. So it was really extra special to get back out there and start playing again.
Man, I can only imagine. I mean, what sorts of tips have you guys sort of, or maybe not tips, what sorts of things have you learned about yourself as a musician from maybe having that time away? Was there anything that you sort of discovered from maybe going inside a little bit rather than constantly being on stage with all those people?
Well, just how much I love it and how much maybe sometimes I took it for granted. I mean, honestly, anytime we put out an album, Seether puts out an album, we tour for 2 years, 18 months, almost 2 years at a time.
Man.
And by the end of 2018, I was, admittedly, we were all tired, wanted to go home. I had no idea, if you had to say, well, you're tired, you're headed home, you're a little fried, you're not going to be able to do this for 2 years. I probably would have rethought, how I was. But I wanted for us to get back out there, and it feels great. It was good to be home. I spent time with the family and those sort of things. My oldest son's a drummer. We have a kit we share at home in the music room, and he's a great inspiration for me to keep my chops up. So I did some homework and just try to keep in fighting shape while we're down, in anticipation of getting back to playing, which we are now finally.
That's awesome. What sort of kit do you have at the house? And is the kit that you have at the house the same that you take out on the road?
No, it's a different one, actually. It's a pearl kit, sparkle pearl kit. And I actually was inspired. Anyone who knows me knows I'm a big Kiss fan, and Eric Singer used a similar kit on the convention tour. And I believe he actually rented this actual kit from a friend of mine at one time. They would rent kits at various venues. And so apparently he played this one. I don't know. I've had it for, over 25 years, but it's a practice kit that we share. But the new drum company I'm with now is WFL3, which is William Ludwig's new drum company, which is amazing. So that's the drums that I play. But we have an old beater kit at the house that we use. Me and my son, we share.
And that was actually the first kit that you ever got, was a Ludwig. Is that right?
That's true. That's right. My dad surprised me Christmas when I was 13 with a set of silver sparkle Ludwigs. They were, like a mid-60s kit, small kit, but it was awesome. I loved it. Yeah, Ludwig was my first kit. So it's full circle for me.
Wow.
When Bill called me and invited me to join his new company, these drums, they're made like classic Ludwigs. They sound amazing. And he's an awesome guy, man. He's just... I'd be with the drum company, not only because the drums are great, but he's just a wonderful human being. He's got so many great stories. He worked with all my heroes, Rick Allen, Alex Van Halen, Eric Carr, Ringo Starr, John Bonham. I mean, the list goes on. He's amazing, and has worked with true legends.
That is fascinating to think that Eric Carr was one of the fellow Ludwig sort of champions. I mean, those ads were quite iconic too.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember looking up Bill because I was only talking to him on the phone. I hadn't met him in person yet. So I was looking him up online. There's a great picture of him and Eric Carr when he just first joined. He's got his Fox makeup on, and it was for a Ludwig ad that they did. And he took a picture with Bill. And then I did a picture with Bill just like that because I wanted to kind of, pay homage to that because I thought that was so cool. But yeah. Eric had a lot of history with them, and he's got, he just talks highly of Eric, and I love to always, hey, so tell me another story about Eric. I love hearing those.
Man, I can only imagine. If you could explain to somebody who doesn't play the drums, what makes a specific set of drums sort of go over the edge in terms of quality, be super high quality, could you do that? I mean, maybe it's hard to explain, maybe it's not.
I mean, a lot of it is a certain wood. In my case, for drums, maple wood is a really good shell, a really good wood for drums, for rock drums anyway. And these are like 3-ply maple shells for the drum geeks out there. And Ludwig was famous for these reinforcement hoops that they would put inside the shell at the top and the bottom of the shells. And it keeps the shell from warping or any change it keeps it perfectly round, and it really helps the tone. So they're made quality. Also, the finish, anytime you see a kit like that pearl I was talking about was a sparkle finish, it was what they call a wrap, which is they wrap it around the wood. It's like kind of a mylar or material they wrap. WFL actually paints the sparkle like you would a guitar. So it's like beautiful, high quality drums, very well made, you know.
Interesting. So does that make a difference in terms of the sound, or does that just make a difference for the aesthetic, that part?
No, for sound, for sure, because you're adding another layer of material to that shell when you add a wrap to it versus painting it. Yeah. So it does, it'd be minute, but it would affect the sound. Absolutely.
Very interesting. We are going to touch on Wasteland, the Purgatory EP, but since we mentioned Kiss, I just wanted, you mentioned anybody who knows you knows that you go way back. Maybe for people who don't know you, was Kiss one of the first groups that really caught your attention? And if so, at what point in your life did that occur?
Yeah. Actually, Kiss was my first concert. I was 13, and it was Creatures of the Night. Anyone knows familiar with that era? It was Eric who was drumming. I was just a little too young. I got into the band when I was a kid. I remember the movie being on TV. And my grandma had a part-time job at weekends at convenience stores, and she would bring home the bubblegum cards. So the Donruss bubblegum cards were like the first thing I had, those images.
I know those from eBay.
Yeah, from eBay. But I remember them when you opened it. And the gum was never good, by the way. The gum was always bad.
Always expired, right?
Then, it was always expired. And from the minute it was made. And I remember those images and just fell in love with the band. But by the time they finally got to Norman, Oklahoma, it was early '83, and that was my first concert. So it was a lineup change. Eric Carr, Vinnie Vincent, which they hadn't officially announced Vinnie, so I was kind of confused. I was one of those that, Ace changes makeup. He kind of looks like him, but the makeup's different, that kind of thing.
Right.
So, yeah, I would have been, a little kid. I mean, they got me at the perfect age, because I was young and into, the superhero side of it. But then came the music. And then, when I turned 13, 14, I was getting into Motley Crue and Van Halen and AC/DC and all the other bands as well. But I always stuck with Kiss, man. I stuck by them through thick and thin all through the years. And I saw Eric Carr in concert all through the 80s. I went to all the shows that came through my town, but I never actually got to meet him, unfortunately.
And there was a lot of Kiss shows going through Oklahoma and a lot of rock shows, I guess, at that time especially, right? Because the 70s and 80s was just prime time.
It's cool. Yeah, Oklahoma City's right on the crossroads of I-35 and I-40. And so all the major tours used to come through there. And yes, in that era, it was the heyday. We got all the shows. Absolutely.
Who do you think is the greatest Kiss drummer? Was it Eric Carr, or was it maybe somebody else?
God, man, I mean, that's like comparing Neil Peart and Buddy Rich. I mean, the styles are completely different, but they each are very special and amazing in their own way. I mean, I don't mean that to be a cop-out, but it's just, each drummer was unique and brought different things to the table. I think Peter on the early stuff is amazing, and I love his feel and the way he played that early stuff, especially the first 6 studio albums. And then Eric Carr brought a whole new thing to it. He played some amazing stuff on those albums in the 80s. And Eric Singer does it all great. I think his high point to me was Unplugged. I think.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, he just killed it on Unplugged. I thought he was I wasn't expecting that, and so that sort of like pulled back sort of way of playing, his finesse and everything. He was perfect and so musical. And of course he's got a great voice too. They all did, which was an added bonus, so
yeah,
it's really hard to say like this one is definitely my favorite, because I have great memories of their different era and what they brought and what I was into as a kid. You know what I mean?
100%. It's like saying what's better, the peanut butter or the jelly. It was so seamless together. It's probably hard to pick one or the other.
It really is.
So the new Seether EP. Very curious about this, because this isn't just your run of the mill EP. You guys got creative with this new project. Yeah.
Actually, when we went in to track the album, we had recorded 21 songs. I tracked drums to 21 songs, and 13 ended up on the initial album. So that meant we had several extra tracks left over. So we added 2 or 3 to this EP, and then we re-recorded Wasteland and Bruised and Bloodied. We did sort of an acoustic version, just kind of a different approach to the song stylistically to kind of give them a change. Wasteland and Bruised, both those songs, we went to the studio, it was January. And that was the first time we had played together in almost a year. That was a special experience on itself. So there's videos for Bruised and Bloody and Wasteland, these re-records of us just having fun in the studio. And that was honest. That was just us just happy to be together and recording and being a band and doing our thing. But yeah, that was a lot of fun. It was a different approach to the actual sort of heavier recorded versions that were on the initial album compared to these re-recorded versions.
It was so cool. It's so cool to hear that tidbit that you just added, because at the end of the Wasteland video, it's like you guys were like sort of like audibly like woohoo, like, you know, you guys were just so happy. Yeah. And I was like, yeah, this is really just a band in their element, you know. It must have been almost like a celebration of sorts.
Yeah, it was. We truly were just happy to be in a studio recording, and at that time we didn't know, you know, anything about a tour around the corner or anything. We were just happy and in the moment being in this great studio in Nashville called Blackbird. And we had a lot of fun. It was fun to do those two songs. So we were just, and that's honest. You see the videos, we're just kind of having fun. I like it when that side of the band comes out, because we also have a sense of humor. It's not always all serious all the time, you know?
Right. There's also a bit of that levity that maybe you want to showcase in certain moments, but not all the time.
Yeah, absolutely. And they've been in videos. A bit of humor comes out in a video like Fake It or Country Song, you know, something where we're kind of making fun of ourselves. And because, you know, that's probably a little bit truer to us at times than being all, you know, serious all the time.
Interesting. You know, you mentioned Blackbird Studios, and we're actually putting together a special on Nashville here, talking with artists. Just curious, I mean, what are your thoughts on sort of the lore of Nashville? I mean, such a legendary musical city. What's your take on the musical scene there?
And I love that town. It's growing so fast. So many people moving there all the time, you know. But it's a cool town. Studios are great. Blackbird's an amazing studio. We've recorded 2 or 3 times there now. So it's almost like a second home. It's sort of our headquarters. And anytime we get together to start rehearsing and working, we work out of there. And people are friendly, and it's a beautiful town. I mean, I'm still in Oklahoma. If I were to move anywhere, I tell them all the time it would be Nashville if I were to go anywhere. But yeah, I like Nashville a lot.
That's really cool. You know, you mentioned sort of the tour, maybe having been prepared for a tour or having seen it coming up per se. So how soon before a tour announcement do you know that there's a tour going on? Is it very soon or? Yeah,
it's usually a few months in advance. Okay. Sometimes it could be up to 6 months or more in advance. And so, yeah, we have to have kind of a notice so we can get things prepared and get the strategy together and work on all the logistics and travel and arrangement and everything that's necessary. But yeah, it's usually a few months, several months in advance.
How many years, or maybe it wasn't even years, maybe it was, you know, weeks or months, but how long did it take you for your immune system, your body to get used to and sort of be in professional touring shape? Like, how long did it take you once you started your career?
Once I started my career, I mean, I was a young man right. Many years ago, you know, and so, but I will say for the pandemic, again, I have to give it to my oldest son, who's a great drummer. He's a great inspiration. And I actually used the time to keep the chops up, to work and to be ready. And I did it for my sanity more than anything, you know. We tour so much. This band has always toured so much that if I'm home for 2 weeks, I'm just home and spending time with the family, that's great. But it's sort of a way I don't know, I get that sort of anxiety out, that energy out, and it's like a workout, and I'm relaxed and I feel better. And if I'm at home for 2 weeks and not doing that, I feel the tension. And so, you know, add that on top of, you know, the tension we were all feeling last year being locked up at home. I needed a way to kind of release that. And drumming has always been that for me. So I'm happy to say, and it was fun, man. I had a lot of fun. I was like a kid again. I was going back. My kids were showing me how you can slow down YouTube videos to watch drummers do different things and learn some, some new fills and chops and was working on Brian teaching Alex Van Halen kind of stuff. I'm the one from the first, that kind of stuff. And I was a kid again, just like learning that stuff, working on that old stuff, which I hadn't done in years. So I used that luckily to keep, as closely as I could in shape, and prepared in anticipation that we would eventually go out again, which thank God has finally happened.
Of course. And I mean, it just must feel fantastic. It's so great to watch the audience reaction, the band reactions, at least from social media for most of these shows. I know that you guys have the 45 albums that are coming out too for the Purgatory EP, Wasteland, the Purgatory EP.
Oh, yeah. We're doing vinyl, man. Vinyl is really taken off, and we did it for the album. And then, we did a pre-order on the EP. And the different colors, the colored vinyl, which, I'm a big vinyl guy. I'm a collector myself.
Same
so
here.
I really appreciate that that's come back. And it's amazing. Both my kids, they, of course, listen to music digitally. They listen to Spotify, and then they have record collections. I think it's amazing, though. This is the way I first listened to music. I would look at that 12 by 12 cover and, we talked about Kiss earlier and the amazing, you'd open the gatefolds to a Live 2 and this amazing photo. And that's the way. So I never got rid of my records. And in fact, I've gotten pretty into it again the last 4 or 5 years, back into collecting. And it's another thing I look forward to being back out on the road again, is I usually try to hit a record store on a day off. And that was always, a good way to, do some shopping and keep the collection up. But I love vinyl. And I think it's great that we're offering it, and they sell. It's amazing. They do very well, and we offer some different color combinations. And it's exciting that vinyl's made its comeback.
I love that. What else do you like to do when you're in certain cities? Is that your main thing, a record store, or do you try to see certain other things when you're in a town? Oh,
I try to see a little bit of sightseeing, not too much. I would say, the most adventurous I get is maybe out to a restaurant or, hop in an Uber and hit a record store. I have this great app on my phone that will tell me independent record stores with a certain mile radius of my location. So I've used that app all over the world. And,
that's a good app.
It's a great app. I've used it in Europe. I've used it in London, South Africa, and in my hometown. So, it's a fun app. So usually that's my adventure when I'm on the road, is maybe to try to hit a used record store.
When you're buying now, because obviously both are great in their own moments, but do you generally prefer new vinyls or classic vinyls that are vintage?
I probably prefer vintage. I look for certain things, original promo copies. I love, those sort of things. But I will say new vinyl sounds amazing. There are some reissues I've picked up. I've done the record store day stuff. That was kind of cool about last year. There were a couple of record store days. I never got to do that before because usually we're on the road.
Right.
But there's some reissues that sound great. The remastering and some of the stuff they're doing, the heavier vinyl, the 180, the 200 gram stuff, it's real flat and sounds awesome. So I will say there's some really good new vinyl as well. So I have a mix of both.
That's really cool, though. No, I think that, again, it depends on the moment and what you're going for. Like, if I'm going to buy Sgt. Pepper, I'd rather a vintage. If I'm going to buy maybe some Tool, I could get that sealed up in the package,
Right.
One more question I had for you. I know that the new EP was produced by one of your own, actually, and engineered, or was it just mixed by Corey? What exactly did Corey take on in terms of the mixing? Was it just the engineering, or was it also production?
Engineering, and I would say production too. Corey's so talented. Not only is he a great musician, I say he's a great engineer, and he's a producer in his own right. But he did everything from help get me ready for the album and ultimately the EP. He would give me the demo tracks that Sean had put together for the songs originally, would take the drums off, and then I would use those at home to work and prepare for recording. And it was a great way so for Sean to be in the producer role, to be in the control room, and to be able to be objective about things, what we did was we built upon the demos. So when Sean does demos and put the songs together, he'll arrange them and he has like a drum machine that's giving me an idea of the rhythm and the beat that he wants. And then we go in to record. I play to those tracks. We take the drums out. Then I play real drums. And that allows Sean, he doesn't have to worry about playing along with me. He can sit in the control room. So Corey was great about getting me prepared that way so that we could come in. Because again, like I said, we did 21 songs in 4 days.
That's insane.
Blackbird's an expensive studio, and we had to work quickly as we could anyway. So I had to be prepared and do my homework. And so that's what we did. And then Corey, he then engineered. He was, assistant engineer to Matt Hyde, who was main engineer on this. And Corey is, he's a triple threat. He's a great singer. He's a killer guitar player, and he's a producer engineer. And he's awesome. Yeah.
So cool. And I know it's a really exciting time for you guys and, of course, the fans. What can people expect who are huge Seether fans out there? I know there's many of them watching for Wasteland, the Purgatory EP.
Man, I'm really proud of, where the band's at and the success that we still have after all these years, that people still care and want to hear the songs. And, we had 2 number ones with Bruised and Dangerous, and Wasteland's out now. And we're so excited to be back on the road and doing shows and to see people's faces, look right into their faces, and to be back doing our thing. So, come out and see us, and you'll have a good time. We're having a blast. I'm so grateful to be back and doing what we're doing and talking to you and talking about new music and being on the road again. So I'm good. I'm in a great place, man.
Awesome, John. And it was a pleasure to speak with you. I really hope the tour keeps going great. And thank you so much for your time. It really means a lot.
Absolutely. Thank you. It's good talking to you.
Say something, say something, say something, say something.
Seether are currently on the road. If you want to check them out on tour, go to Seether's official website. And of course, make sure to check out their brand new project, some acoustic music, and really happy to have had John on the show, guys. I thought that was a cool, straightforward chat with an awesome drummer.
Yeah, it's sounded like you guys already had a history, you knew each other kind of thing, or like we said. But that's kind of what the whole point of a good interview is. Like, it has to feel like it's just 2 guys drinking beers on a couch or something, the band, honestly, what's there to say, right? They're like a well-oiled machine. They just know what they're doing. Their songs are consistent, dude, they have almost 6 million monthly listeners on Spotify. So
wow,
and that many bands, I think, from that era, right, can say that. Well, maybe there is a lot, but I'm saying that's still putting out stuff relevant and still doing well, So
it's not as many. It's very few.
Is John the only non-South African in the band?
I'm actually not sure of the background of the other guys, to be honest.
Yeah, because when I was doing research, oh man, a band that's made it this big from South Africa, that's really cool. They originated in Pretoria, I believe, and they had an original drummer, and John's taken over since 2003, around there. So he's been around for a while. He's a full family member at this point, but it's just cool to see. And it was cool to hear that he was talking about his son with you, Cassius, and how his son has a drum set and how that keeps him motivated too. It was cool to hear that. That was very humanizing point that he made. But yeah, dude, cool band. Strong following too, Joe, like you were saying, man. Consistent follower and listenership on Spotify, and nice on socials as well. They're very active.
Yeah, it's awesome to see it. It really is encouraging. As we teased going into the interview, the greatest band to ever exist is auditioning bassists. And that is, of course, Steel Panther. Ask anybody from Iron Maiden to Kiss. That's obviously who influenced them. And they have right there on their website the actual step-by-step to how you can audition to be their bassist. Rule number 1, the instruction number 1 is to be bitchin'. That's literally rule number 1. So in on your bass and you might get the job. Upload a video of you playing and then explaining why you should be the bassist for Steel Panther. So honestly, I don't know about you guys. I would like to see one of our subscribers become the bassist of Steel Panther.
Yeah, that would be interesting. Let us know if you do, or if you send your auditions, let us know. In the comments, send us the link. We'd love to go check it out.
That is so. Is this super rare. Like, have you ever seen this before?
Yeah,
I haven't.
A PSA to like anyone.
I even like at the time when I was my younger guitar player self, I remember Ozzy was looking for a sidekick again, and after Zach had left, and ended up being replaced by Joe Holmes. But yeah, they were looking for like a young gun and stuff. But I mean, what's funny with Steel Panther is everything they do is like so tongue in cheek, hilarious, and like over the top. It makes no sense. It's funny.
It's weird, like to me, because you think of any industry. Like this is essentially a job application, right? If that's what it is, right? And while open job applications do work, you get like littered with, flooded with applicants, right? So they're going to get flooded with applicants. But very surprising that through all the years they've been working, like they don't just go through a good recommendation. Like it's always, you know how people always say it's through the people you know? Like
session musicians or studio guys that would come in, yeah.
Surprising that would have gone to this point. Maybe they did that. And they just didn't find success, and this is their last call or something like that, their last attempt. But you'd think that bands would know people who would give them an audition privately, like that.
I think this is like as much marketing or as much into the way they just do things that they do. You know, let's get the audience involved as much as possible. You know, why not?
Yeah.
You know, another thing I remember. It was Stone Temple Pilots when the singer passed away. They did auditions, and one of our former guests, Brandon from the Chair Warriors, did a really wicked audition for that band. Obviously, he didn't get picked, but like, it happens, you know, where you reach out to the public. But usually you're right. Cool. Usually it's like word of mouth friends, people you know already, people that sometimes even the guitar tech that's been with you for 10 years doing your guitar player stuff now becomes the guitar player, you know?
That's what happened in Kiss. That guy was the current guitarist was literally getting them coffee, and now he's on stage in costume. So yeah, I guess you never know how it's going to happen. Well, this has been an awesome episode, guys. You know, it's good to be back to all the viewers especially, and of course to Frank and Joe. We do want to give a quick shout out to you guys because you've been very interactive with our community tab. I know that, Joe, you've been putting up a lot of different questions and things for our viewers.
Yeah, we've just been going through, you know, like, trying to figure out, poll the audience, get more engagement with the audience and see what you guys like, what you guys are into, what you're not into. So thanks for participating. Like we've got some interesting ones. You know, what is something you listened to in high school that you still listen to today? You know, there's one. We got some very cool comments, and you know some other that I've been planning throughout the last couple of days. Yeah,
that's good, man. No, it's good to see that the audience is responding to that. They're receptive to it. We enjoy hearing and reading what you guys are into. Also, hopefully by the time this episode airs or shortly thereafter, we'll be at 23,000. Hopefully.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, we're pushing 23.
Yeah, if we're like maybe 20 away, you know.
There you go. At the time of this recording. So hopefully by the time it's uploaded, we're there, and you know the next milestone is 25 and so on and so forth. But a good episode.
Got a week to make 20 burner accounts, so I think that we will definitely reach it by then. So thank you guys for tuning in. Of course, you can check out the shirts if you're interested. Yep. I'm not the best model because it's upside down, I think, but
no, you're good. You're good.
I'm good. SoundMojo, we're available. Click that subscribe button down below. Click that little bell right next to it. It's going to give you real-time updates about everything that we do. And of course, take a look for those community tabs, polls, and beyond, just in terms of music. So make sure to interact with us there. We're also on social media at SoundMojo, pretty much everywhere. That's Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. And thanks so much for tuning in to episode number 35. We'll catch you guys next week.